What up? Welcome. We are in the immediate aftermath. The top seeds have been announced. The 4 regions for basketball Bedlam have been finalized, and thought about putting pen to paper, but I figured this might just be the easiest way to go. We're going to dive in, instant reaction to the 4 regions, and what we think, which ones are probably going to be the hardest, any unfortunate seeds given out by the committee, and anything else beyond it. So let's just go through all 4 of them off camera here, just because this is too far breaking for me to find a camera to go off of. So West region, look, this is going to be the hardest region. Kentucky, number 1. That's a team that's been ranked within the top 5 basically all season. Kansas, number 2. UCLA, number 3. Gonzaga is number 4. Houston is number 9. Houston's been red hot this season. Wake Forest had a little run. They're 10. Terrible draws for the bottom of this bracket. I would be honestly stunned if we get an upset in this round. But this is featuring the top 4 seeds. All of them were ranked in the top 10 at some point this season. Houston began the season top 10. They struggled. So I don't know that they totally agree or deserve a top ranking, but I thought Houston, I guess we could start there. They were better than 9. They had a phenomenal close to this season. That's better than a 9 seed in this tournament. That to me is a 5 or 6. They dominated the back half of the American between Aji Feshbenle, Freddie Stonewall, the Holmes brothers. This is a really, really good Houston Cougars team. So to see them at number 9, to me, that seems extravagantly too low. Meanwhile, Gonzaga at a 4. Gonzaga's a 2 seed, man. 2 weeks left in the regular season. This team was top 10 in the nation. 2-loss, 1-loss team. They fall anytime you're Gonzaga and you lose a conference game. Considering where it is, we have seen them just plummet in the rankings. So I think this is a terrible spot for them at number 4. I thought they were going to be a 2 seed. At the very least, I thought their floor was a 3. Them getting number 4, I think is terrible. I thought UCLA probably could have been a 2 seed the way they've been playing. They kind of flirted with getting into the top 10 at points this season and staying there. They didn't end up obviously getting that. So I just think this is going to be a brutal region to get out of. You're looking at weekend 2 being, a 1 versus 4 matchup of Kentucky, Gonzaga, and then a 2-3 of Kansas, UCLA if we go chalk. That's brutal. That is brutal for those teams. So that's a tough region to walk out of. Head to the East, where Tennessee ends up number 1. Creighton is number 2. Michigan 3. Indiana coming in at number 4. I thought a little bit of a positive nod here to Duke at number 8. I thought they probably could have been a little bit lower based off the track record they had this season. They just haven't been that consistent. Maryland doing themselves some favor. Cooper Kingy-Cross. He single-handedly took Maryland, who was a number 7 seed, granted a very good Big Ten, took them all the way, wins the conference championship, and now number 6. That's a dangerous number 6 team. They win, and they would face the winner of, I think, Michigan and Long Beach State as your 3 versus 14. That's a tough 6 seed to drop into. But Creighton, that's another team I thought they could have been a number 1. They miss out on that. They had been right around that top 5. They don't make the run in the Big East. I think that hurts them, especially with the loss to UConn. They wouldn't have been able to jump UConn, but they could have gone up a little bit further. So I don't know that this is quite as deep as the West region is, but this is not a slouch. And so Michigan, I think, is dangerous. Lorenzo Phenom. Indiana has got some good pieces. Mackenzie Mbako there. There's not a team really in this group that I'm concerned about. Put some respect on Rutgers' name. They've been pretty good this season. They get a 5 seed. So tough region, but I don't know that I'm looking at any surprises there. Head to the Midwest. Miami is our number 1 seed out there. Xavier, number 2. USC still ends up as the number 3 seed, and Villanova our number 4. I think this one kind of made sense to me. I thought USC probably could have been number 2. They were a 9 in the last regular season ranking of the top 10. They ended up dropping. That would have put them in at the fringe of a 2-3 seed if you just go kind of 1 through 4 being your number 1 seed and so on. So this makes sense. I thought they could have probably dropped a little bit further considering that opening round loss in the Pac-12 championship game. To be without Bronny James, though, I think is huge responsibility now falling to Anthony Sasser and Isaiah Collier. So tough matchup for them. That would line them up with St. Mary's and UNC if they can survive their opening round game. So tough matchup. And then Villanova. Villanova's a team that was in the top 10 for most of the season, too. So a difficult region for Miami to try to walk out of as the number 1 seed. I have not been very high on Xavier. I thought they've kind of lost a lot of the big games that they should have. I really thought that them to end up in the top 10 at the end of the regular season, to me, just wasn't what I expected. And then we'll head to the South region where we get UConn. I think this is the most favorable number 1 ranking in this group. Arizona has been hit or miss. Alabama, that's not terrible. But then, of course, Baylor in at number 4. Baylor's been at points number 2. Alabama had a nice run throughout the regular season. DJ Childs is not going to go quietly into the night. FAU, though, you want to talk? Hey, you want to talk? Let's look a week or two in, or a weekend in. FAU, if they were to beat Baylor, that would set up a matchup with them taking on. Who would it be? I think it would be the winner of Arkansas and Yale. So let's assume they did that. But there's the pathway is my point is. There's a pathway if FAU pulls a couple upsets to be taken on UConn in the round of Sweet 16. FAU, though, I think is criminally underrated. They've had a phenomenal regular season. They were one of the last unbeaten teams. They ran through Conference USA. They have just been underappreciated by the committee all season, along with the performance by Gonzaga. I just one loss should not have done what it did to Gonzaga to put them at number 4. I thought FAU probably could have been an 8 or 9, which is what they were last season. So a huge drop for them. But that's it. If I had to go with any prediction, I don't love doing it. Miami, Miami scares me in the best way possible. That offense has been absolutely phenomenal with Dominic Bianco, with Edgar Fernandez. Jermaine McElmore has been dynamic at the 4 for that group. So I would I would probably pick them coming out of the Midwest. Like I said, you've got USC, who's missing their best player, or one of them. You've got a flawed Xavier squad. That's just a very favorable region for them. The South region, I think it's a UConn, Alabama, one of those two teams between DJ Childs and then Donovan Clingan. But I would probably go UConn out of that. I'm not going to take ones across the board, even if Tennessee entices the heck out of me. Sleeper you want to go is Maryland and Cooper King across. He's just been on a roll. But I think Michigan with Lorenzo Phenom is also a threat there. We're doing it. We're going to take Tennessee out of that one in the West region. Kentucky's been so good, but it just feels like somewhere along the line they tend to stumble. So we'll go UCLA coming out of the West. You've got the swan song for Coach Cal, the disappointment of where they end up. It just feels like there's something missing. And Tennessee beating Kentucky in the SEC championship game, I think, sets the stage. So if I went that, my prediction would be UCLA, Tennessee, Miami, and UConn, 3 number 1 seeds, which scares me a little bit. But that would be my 4 teams headed to the Final Four. And then, we'll see from there. That's it. Emergency pod that went a little bit longer than expected. But this should be a dandy. Everything gets rolling on Thursday with first round games. Looking forward to it. We will probably do a instant reaction following the completion of the first 2 days of each round. So we'll probably put something up Friday night that would recap the opening rounds. That's it. We'll talk to you then.